victory is mine right now. It's mine right now. It's mine now. It's mine now. It's now. It's now.
Let's go to work. Judges 13. Somebody stay with me, because I ain't going to be long. Judges 13 and 12. I want to read that. So it says this. It says, so Manoah got up and followed his wife. And when he came to the man, he asked, are you the man who spoke to my wife? This man was an angel. And he said, I am. And he said, verse number 12, he said, then Manoah asked, when your words come to pass, what will be the boy's rule of life? Somebody say rule of life. Rule of life. What will be the boy's rule of life and mission? So the angel of the Lord answered Manoah, your wife is to do everything I told her. Our focus will be verse 12. Then Manoah asked, when your words come to pass, what will be the boy's rule of life? The word of the Lord is already blessed. I want to start this off a little different. Won't start off with a story. I want to start off with something that I want us to make sure that we grasp, but I think is maybe going over our heads. I'm going to start with the first point right off the back, and it is prophetic, and I want you to understand this. I want you to understand that more is already here. Now, hear what I'm saying. It's important today that if you have an ear to hear what the Spirit is saying to the church, because a portion of it is prophetic, and that is this: more is already here. More is not coming. More is already here. I can prove it. Whenever God now speaks to a man or woman of God and gives them a word, you have to listen to the word, but you also have to ask yourself, what does it imply? So Bishop White now has been preaching on heart work, not hard work, but the overall message is about stewardship. Somebody say stewardship. Now, he gave the definition of stewardship. Stewardship is one who manages the affairs of someone else with the interest of the owner in mind. Again, stewardship is one that manages the affairs of someone else with the interest of the owner in mind. So then, watch this. In order for me now to be a steward, I must have something to manage. Which means then is that if God is telling us to preach stewardship, that means more is not coming. More is already here. Okay, you're still not getting it. The more you prayed about on your job is already here. The more in your finance is already here. The more about your relationships is already here. The more that you've been looking for is not coming. It is already here. You still don't got it. No problem. A couple of years ago, Joel Osteen told this story about a man that actually went to heaven. And when he went to heaven, he was walking with the Apostle Peter in heaven. And while he was walking in heaven with Peter, he saw these doors. These doors had names on them. And while these doors had names on them, he said, Peter, what are these names? What are these names, Peter? And Peter said, man, don't worry about that. Let's just get to Jesus. We're going to go, meet Jesus. And the man said, okay, no problem. Then he walked past a door valve that had his name on it. He said, wait. I want to go meet Jesus, but my name is on this door. Peter said, man, don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. Let's just go meet Jesus. You here now. Don't worry about what's in that door. He said, man, I got to know my name is on it. He goes into the door. When he goes into the door, there's shelves and shelves and shelves with packages on it with his name on it. He says, Peter, I'm sorry. He said, what are these packages with it? He says, these are all the things that God was trying to ship to you, but that you weren't in the position to receive. They were already packaged and ready to go. The more that you were asking for was already there. Everything that you prayed for was already. The problem was not that whether it was coming or not. The problem was your positioning. I don't know about you, But my mother prayed too hard. My father prayed too hard for me to sit back and live a mediocre life, for me to sit back and allow myself to go to heaven and not experience all the packages that God has for me right now. I wish I had about 2 or 3 witnesses that understood that God has more for you no matter what it looks like. I feel like preaching. There is more that's already here. So what is the problem then? If there's more already here, then how come I don't see it? And the Lord said to me, he says, John, he says, there's a couple things that you got going. He says, the release of this more requires you to revisit the terms and conditions. He says, son, where I'm taking you, you have a terms and conditions problem, and you have a management problem. Okay, before you judge me too harshly, I've gone through a couple weeks. I've been going through a little bit of stress, but this stress is only because God has been trying to teach me about capacity and management. Because the more is not coming. The more is already here. The issue becomes the terms and conditions. Okay, you still don't got it, no problem. My son, at times, I used to love when we have to get something like a bike or something like that in the box. The second or third box, I had Toys R Us put it together. But the first one, I'm the dad, you know, I'm gonna put the first one, you know, it's my kid, and I'm gonna do it in the presence of everybody. So I did what any person would do. I opened the bike, and I looked at the box, and I started putting it together. Looking at the box with the picture on the box. Now, it did come with directions, but what I found is that by the time I put the whole thing together, I still had several pieces. Watch. So then the bike looked like the picture. It looked like it was functional, but there was some stuff that was missing. If I had read the directions, then maybe I could have fixed the bike the way it was supposed to. You still don't got it, okay? Before you judge me, just the other day you were downloading the app. And while you were downloading the app, you said, I want this app on your phone, your iPhone, your Galaxy, whatever you got. And while you were downloading it, right before you were allowed to download it fully, there's this thing that popped up that said terms and conditions. And this is what you did. You would scroll down to the end, and you hit, I agree. The issue is you ain't read none of it. So now you agree to something that you didn't read. Let me tell you, people of God, and I say this prophetically, this more that you are asking God for that's already here is dependent upon us following the terms and conditions. You cannot download something spiritually that you have not read the detail of. It's a management issue. Bishop was preaching about the talents, and he said it, but I felt like it went over our heads. God gave one, he gave one person 3, and he gave one 5. Yeah. Well, why did he do that? Yeah. John. I don't want 1. John. I want 5. No, for real. Why when we come to church, we act like we don't have no questions? Why, Jesus, do you give 1, 1, 3, and 1, 5? Why? Well, the one I gave the one to, that's all they can manage. Well, where's the proof, God? Well, where's the proof? He says, what? I gave them terms and conditions. When I come back, I want this to be more. And what did the one with the one do? Buried it. Yeah. He says, son, this is what's happening to my people. They're praying for more that's already here with a one mentality, with a one capacity, with a one level of management. Oh, I want my business to grow, but you're not even current on what's happening in your business. You're not an expert. You don't spend no time with it. But you want 5 talents with a one mentality. This is the reason why, I feel the Lord, this is the reason why you keep getting fired from jobs. Is because you go in acting like you qualified, but you have a mismanagement of what you've been given. I hear the Lord saying you have to follow now the terms and conditions to receive the more that's already here. My boy, Samson, finds himself in a situation. This story is about Samson. We focus on Delilah. That is not my focus. I submit to you, the story about Samson is not about Delilah. Right. It is about what his father said to the angel. Watch this. He says, after the words of the angel spoke all this prophecy about Samson. Samson is going to be a deliverer. Yeah. That's the object of his life. I'm going to make him gifted. I'm going to make him responsible for a gift, to be the deliverer. That's his purpose. Yeah. So then the father says, well, if you're going to make him that, what will be the terms and conditions of a person that has that kind of gift? This gift requires this life. Y'all still missing it? This money that you pray for requires you to be able to budget. Why in the world would I, God, give you the money you asked for and you don't budget the 1,000 that you got? I feel the Holy Ghost. Terms and conditions. What shall be his rule of life? What will be the terms and conditions? And they said, the angel said, well, he's going to be a Nazarite. A couple things. I don't want him to touch nothing that's dead. I don't want him to touch nothing that's dead. How many things do we touch that's dead? He says, don't touch nothing that's dead. I don't want him drinking no wine. And I don't want him with no foreign women. Preach. These are the terms for this type of life. If I ask for this type of life, I have to have this type of terms and conditions. So before Delilah, Samson has some desires. What do you do? And this is what I've been asking myself. Can I keep it real with y'all real quick? Yeah, real. There are some times where my personal desires supersede the terms and conditions. You looking at me, it's all right. I'm going to just talk about me. I already know what I'm supposed to do over here. But I also know what it costs to do what I got to do over here. So I ask myself every day, do I really want what I know is over here? And if you're anything like me, why did the man, when I was talking to my boy Kyle, why did the man that had the one talent bury it? He said, because I was afraid. Fear will make you avoid terms and conditions. Because you know, if you step all the way over here, the terms and conditions are going to make you act a certain way that you're not ready to do yet. You still want to play. So what we become satisfied with is praying for the more, but not stepping into the terms and conditions for the more. Point number 2, you must choose the terms and conditions over your personal desires. You got to choose. You got to choose the terms. I want this life. This is what it requires. I want a flat stomach. This is how many times I got to go to the gym. I looked in the mirror this morning. I was like, man, your arms is cool, but your gut ain't cool. So I imagine myself with a six-pack. Listen, I can imagine myself all day, but if I don't get on some track, go run somewhere, do some cardio, those are terms and conditions for a flat stomach. If I don't eat a whole bunch of carbs and eat a whole bunch of stuff I ain't got no business eating, these are the terms and conditions. Why do we keep praying for stuff and don't want to adjust our lives to the terms and conditions to what we ask for? Stop praying about it. If you're not willing to follow the terms and conditions, stop praying about it. Lord. Third point. Isn't it interesting that Samson, he touched the dead corpse, he drank the wine, but his strength didn't go away. Temporary allowance does not mean approval. Right. Just because God allows me to do it does not mean that I'm okay. God reminds me every day, don't think I didn't see that. The more you compromise on terms and conditions, the more you get to Delilah. Delilah is the linchpin, but it didn't start with her. It started with these two other things that I told you not to do. Here comes an influx of money. You walk in, you go, man, I got this much money in the bank. And literally you feel this thing that goes, I want you to invest the money. You don't know what it means, but you're like, man, I got this money. I'm gonna call Reg and go to the mall real quick. Go to the mall. That $1,000, I like shoes. And so I like expensive shoes. And so the devil often tells me to go purchase some shoes. Now, I talked to a gentleman yesterday. I was at there's this thing called King's Conscious that I rep, and there's a gentleman that's doing this financial thing, and I talked to him after the event. And this is what he told me. I'm not gonna say his name, but this is what he said. He says 20 years ago, he was going to a Foot Locker, and when he went into the Foot Locker, he was going to buy tennis shoes because he has a shoe demon like me. So he goes in, and a man arbitrarily walks up to him and says, man, let me show you what to do with that money. He said at first he thought it was a scam, but he decided to listen. And so he bought 418 shares of Amazon 20 years ago. Those shares are $1,800 per share. You do the math. Money's not coming. Money is already here. If we don't follow the terms and conditions, why would God give us 2 and 5, 3 and 5 talents, and we don't even budget what we have? Why would God now, okay, hold on to your seatbelts, you ain't got to like me today, it's all good, I feel prophetic today. This is the deal. Why would God now bless you with more, and this is every time we bring up money or tithe in church, it gets tense. Why? A couple weeks ago, the Lord, I was traveling a lot, so my app wasn't working, so I hadn't been here. And I don't know about you. You know when you miss church? You miss church. The tide starts to. I'm gonna pay it next week. So then that's 2 weeks. And see with me, the Lord blessed me a couple different ways, a couple different jobs, a couple different times. All of a sudden, the tithe was like a mortgage, almost felt like. And I asked God, I said, you sure I can't apply grace to this? He said to me this, he says, what I just gave you is nothing. That's what he told me. He says, compared to what I'm gonna do for you in 2020, he says, this that you have in your hand is nothing. He says, if you release it, I'm gonna release. I said, all right, this is what it, and I noticed the more I do it, my feeling about it starts to change. But not like that, not just that, I notice also on the other end, my life is very different. You know, I'm chilling. Kyle calls me up the other day. I'm chilling, and Kyle calls me up and he goes, Jay, did you check the email? I go, no, I didn't check the email. He said, hey, that song we wrote for Leon Timbo years ago, I didn't even know it made the record. He was like, that song we wrote, they called to make sure the percentages was right. I wasn't even looking for it. I didn't even know it made the record. I was like, oh. Well, we got some money somewhere? Listen, my mama used to say it, but as an older person, I didn't understand it when I was a child, but you can't beat God given no matter how hard. Temporary allowance does not mean approval. Let's get out of here. Number 4. Bring me my stuff, Gary, please. Point number 4. Don't misuse the freedom, or don't complain in transitional freedom. Once again, don't misuse the freedom or complain about transitional freedom. Stand up here with me real quick. Give me one more person. Rich, come up here. So this is what I mean. This is what I'm figuring out because this is what I've been going through. We often talk about God, you know, wanting God to give us what we pray for. But what I'm experiencing is now God has given it to me, and I found myself complaining about it. So on the Samson side of things, don't misuse the freedom. Because he had temporary allowances, he felt like he could still do whatever he wanted to do. So he was a mismanager of the gift that he was given. In his freedom, he mismanaged it. Hear me. You may touch the corpse, you may drink the wine, but at some point, Delilah is coming. And Delilah is the linchpin. Now, let's go on the other side. Complaining in what I call transitional freedom. There's a space in between Egypt and the Promised Land. And it's called transitional freedom. Where you come out of Egypt to go to the Promised Land, but you're in this middle space called transitional freedom, where God is blessing you, but we call that the wilderness. But I call it transitional freedom. I got to be careful in this space not to complain in my transitional freedom, because and say stuff like, I want to go back to slavery. Please, y'all, hear what I'm saying by the Spirit. They came out of years and years of slavery and were free, and then asked to go back to slavery. Can I tell you something? God would rather you die in the wilderness trying than to go back to slavery. So no, some of them didn't make it to the Promised Land, but most of them died trying. I would rather die trying than to go back to slavery. So I got to be careful not to complain. I was like, Lord, oh my God, I got Harambe. Oh my God, I got music. Oh my God, I got the church. Oh my God, I oversee a church in Connecticut. Oh my God, all this stuff. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And I start complaining. Why? Oh God, I'm so stressed out. Oh my God, and crying. What's wrong with you, Pastor? I just don't feel good. I just, I don't know. We start doing all that. But wait a minute. You prayed for expansion. God is, what is the purpose of this transitional freedom? Where's the little bag? Come here, Rich. Open this bag. So this is, open the balls. Let me see. I need you to come. Can you pick them up, Elder, please, for me? Come over here after I put them in here. Come on. Let's open this. This one's stuck. Okay, I'm gonna rip this. You got that one? Okay, open this one up. We coming, y'all. It's coming. Okay, boom. Here we go. So, this is what God is doing. This is us before, right? So, the reality of it. I need that one open too, bro. Pick those up for me, Elder. The reality of it is, the only amount of stuff that can go into this bag. Put those in there. Man, there's all these balls that go into here. Just tear it. Here, just tear it. Just tear it. But the reality of it is, all that can go into this bag. So watch. If this is all I am, this is all I can receive. I can't receive nothing more. This is what God says. He says, tell them. Just help me pick these up. Open up the other bag. He says, tell them in the transitional freedom. This is what I'm doing. He said, you want to know why some days you have up days and some days down? You feel you up one day, down the other, right? You feel good one day, you don't feel good the next. One day you like, man, I'm walking on sunshine. Next day you like, dang, I don't know what's wrong with me. You want to know why you feel so schizophrenic spiritually, like one day you up, you down. You're trying to figure it out. He says, this is the reason. He said, I got you in a transitional freedom. He says, and this is what I do in a transitional freedom. He said, what I do is, he said, I'm stretching the bag. He said, I'm stretching it. My purpose for the transit, the reason why you up and down, he said, that's a good thing. He said, because what I'm doing in this wilderness, hold this side right here. He said, I'm putting you in a position, I feel like preaching. I'm putting you in a position to stretch you in a way that you ain't never been stretched before. He says, I'm putting you in a space. You experienced some grief in the wilderness. You experienced some stuff that made you feel crazy and sad. But he said, but I'm stretching you. I feel like preaching. I'm stretching you in a place that you ain't never been before. I'm stretching you, trying to get you to a space where God now can give you more than what you expected. Because what he already has right now, is not big enough now. The balls that are right here, you're not big enough for the stuff that he's trying to do with you. But this is what he's doing. He said, I'm going to make this bag bigger. I'm going to make it bigger so that you can fit more into the bag. Now watch this. Not just fit more in the bag. He says, but when I'm done, the bag got space for some more. So that you can receive all the more. I wish I had about 2 or 3 witnesses in the room that understood that God has already done what he's going to do. God is already doing more. God is already applying more. All I got to do is stretch myself. I wish I had about 2 or 3 members that said, I'm going to stretch myself. I'm going to stretch. 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 Stretch yourself. Stretch yourself. Stretch yourself. Stretch yourself. More. I gotta follow the terms and conditions. I don't know about you. I'm gonna stop hiding from my shadow. I'm not gonna let nobody make me shrink no more. God is doing more already. Stop walking in rooms worrying about what other people think. Stop calling, asking people for opinions. If God told you to write a book, then you write it. Why are you asking for opinions? Why are you looking for validation from people? A person can only tell you based on the vantage point of the bag of the size they are. So excuse me, if your bag is so little that you don't want to see me progress. Excuse me, if your bag is so little you don't want to see me in the next level. Excuse me, if your bag is so little. Next level. God now is asking for us as an individual to follow the terms and conditions. Let me tell you something, church. Victory Bible Church. And I say this as a person under submission to authority. God is requiring us as a church to go to the next level. Hear me, church. I say this as a man under submission to my pastor. God in 2020 is calling us to do something more than what we've done. God does not want Victory Bible Church to be a family church in the sense of a small church with a small mentality. He's saying we got to do more. What does that mean? More in tithing. What does that mean? More with your talents. You know you got stuff that you can offer the church. And you waiting because you don't like this person. You know, that time is over. The Lord is saying move into the more that already exists. If you are in this room and you know God is calling you to more and you know you've been hindered in that more, get down here. Come on. Come.